back, Ponderers, to another episode of Pop Culture Ponderers. Um, Tonight we're going to talk about sharks, getting
Yes,
into the summer season, and
right? Swimming into our summer with sharks. I totally love that. Exactly. We had a couple of just like general ponders too. These weren't necessarily super specific, but like as we were looking at summer, what sums up summer better than sharks?
absolutely,
Exactly.
you go from classics like Jaws to not so like it is a classic movie, but Shark Tales.
Yeah, exactly. We have the wide range of shark movies. For some reason, sharks are an animal that we make more movies about than like anything else.
Yeah,
We looked at a couple different things in terms of animals that show up in a film. Sharks are our number one. We love a shark film more than anything else. So, we picked a few of our favorites. We
yep.
kind of broke them down, why we love them, what's great about them, what stays forever. And we're just gonna take ourselves into summer with that. I like that. All right, so let's start with the classic, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jaws.
You couldn't start with a better movie.
It is the iconic shark film. And it's one of those things like it's not only the iconic shark film, but there's something like classic horror about Jaws.
Yeah,
You have the soundtrack, Donna, 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 like there's that stays with a million people. Jaws is the film that changed the way that people felt about sharks in general. It affected the entire cultural spectrum and the way that we viewed sharks as an animal, but it also changed like the horror film for a little bit. I mean, numerous people lost the ability to like get in the bathtub or the shower. They
yeah.
couldn't go to swimming pools, they couldn't get in the ocean. Um, Jaws was really something special. It captured some kind of cultural feeling or like the essence of a moment where there was something about that like everyone understood the fear of Jaws. And then we have it all the way exactly like you said to something like as you're talking about Shark Tale, or the one that always occurs to me is Finding Nemo.
Yeah,
Bruce.
yeah.
Fish are friends, not food. Um and like we've seen the shark transcend like a bunch of different forms in media, but the shark is something very constant for us. There's some reason that we go back to the shark again and again. So out of all of the film canon, like if you're looking at all of the different sharks that we see, who is your favorite? Who do you like the most?
Probably if we're gonna go with that, I see. I don't know.
Mhm.
It'd be Jack Black from Shark Tales. Like he was so lovable,
So good.
but then you also love Bruce from
Right?
yeah,
There's a combination there. There's something about the animated shark that's very sweet. And like it's a weird combination where we like took on sharks as something that we were deeply afraid of, but like you see films that champion them too. So both in Finding Nemo and Shark Tales, there's something about the shark that we find sweet. There's something
yeah.
really cute about those characters. That's like, anything voiced by Jack Black. Gotta do well.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think the same thing occurs in Finding Nemo when we're looking at that entire support group of sharks and they're trying to decide how to be more approachable, essentially, as a species. That's their whole vibe. I think
Love
that
that scene where you see them like sneak up on them, and then
it's
you're thinking, oh, these guys are gonna get eaten, and then they
complete
go
deep
into
terror.
the whole fish are friends and not food.
Fish are friends, not food. Exactly. That'll get me every single time. And then that tiny little moment where you have like the little bit of blood that comes up and Bruce just loses his mind. He's trying so hard to be a good shark. Yeah, there's something special about the shark. It captures something in the human imagination. There's something about the way that we tell stories about them, and they represent, I think, something for us that is wild and untamed. There's something about the way that we tell stories about them that is like a final frontier kind of vibe. The ocean is something special to the human condition. We understand land in a different way. We're very good at conquering land. We've been pretty much everywhere on it. But the ocean is this deep mystery for us, and sharks represent this unknowable potential and terror. They are the greatest thing out there in that ocean. They are the greatest thing that we come up against. And so I think that we tell those stories about them because we're looking for that place where we still find the wildness and the wilderness in ourselves. Um, so when I look at the original, when I look at Jaws, that's where that first feeling comes to for me. That sense of looking at sharks as like this the great potential. They have
Yeah,
the ability to be anything. So what are your first feelings? Like do you remember watching Jaws for the first time?
yeah. I remember as a kid watching Jaws and being terrified completely, and like you said, like I had issues like always thinking like I'm gonna get eaten in a pool, and just taking a shower like, can a shark get me here? Like there's water.
Right?
Like, and being that young and thinking about that, but now looking back, I feel like an idiot. But it, like you said, that movie changed a lot with the cinematic, like with all the stuff with sharks and everything else. And
It revolutionized the movie going experience. Like there was numerous people who had wild reactions in the theater. They fainted, they lost their minds, they ran out in a panic. It changed the way that people felt about beaches. It changed the way that people felt. Like there was numerous people that said they couldn't go in a bathtub or in a pool afterwards because they were nervous about that movie. And it also changed the way that we as a society face sharks. Like we were so reactive to that moment that we completely changed the way that we felt about that species in general. Steven Spielberg did something really, really special there. And we see that again and again throughout his work, the capturing of the essence of something, the essence of the idea of the shark as um as a strength that rivals our own, as something that for us as human beings, we will never be able to truly conquer. Because when we're in that element, when you're in the realm of a shark, you will never be as strong or as fast or as quick as they are. Like, you can't do what they can do.
no,
It's the same way that we look at, like, the way he does with aliens. There's numerous things that he takes that view as what if you were what if you were outside of our species and really we are the vulnerable ones, and sharks are one of the only places that that still happens for us. The shark movie is one of the few places we have examples of things like aliens or things like zombies or like weird monsters or creatures, things like Stranger Things, that come out and they have more power than we do. But in terms of an actual threat in the human realm, something that we come up against routinely and still will never have the advantage over, it
and
is sharks.
and that's what makes them so terrifying is you're in the water and you could only move so fast,
Yes.
and these things could move up. I don't know if I'm at the right speed, but they could probably go 20, 30 miles an hour in the water and come at you. Like,
Right.
you're not stopping that.
Exactly. We have an entire week, like there's Shark Week, there's devoted to them. There's so many documentaries because exactly it's that kind of thing. If you're in their element, it is their element. Any other predator, any other animal, they're in yours. But something about the shark means that you are intrinsically at a disadvantage. They're coming at you from like a multi-depth view. They have angle, they have distance, they have a whole bunch of advantages. And we see that in a bunch of our movies. So I saw Jaws is a big one. We started there, no question. But another shark movie that will always, always, always capture my entire heart and imagination is Deep Blue Sea. There is something about the idea of not only the shark having the advantage of environment, because we have this entire floating like fortress. We've built this entire facility out in the middle of the ocean just for the advantage of trying to study sharks, but we've given them human intelligence.
Well, that to me is for the storyline. That's just insane. Why would you want to do that to the ocean's one of the ocean's greatest predators?
Thank you. Clearly a mistake from the very, very beginning. And I do. I like our premise. So we're trying to cure Alzheimer's there. So we've given the sharks an increased brain capacity and we're trying to extract this specific protein from them. And all that that's done is make them super smart and given them the drive to destroy another life form. So you watch these sharks systemically take out an entire underwater fortress. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. I cannot get over. And then the human reactions to that too. You have some of the best shark acting that you will ever see. Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J, amazing lines through that entire film. Another one for me though is the Meg.
The Meg to me was a little over the top, but the fact that I feel like I know the shark was always huge. I think they
hmm
over exaggerated how big it was, but still a very entertaining movie.
Yes. So there we leave like some of our realism behind for sure. We started to like take the shark film into the realm of not quite ridiculousness, but we've started to leave, or we're taking a strong departure into the ways that shark films can take us into the fantastic for sure and the fun. So we have again your basis in the regular science and the fact. We have the megalodon, which is a huge shark, would be terrifying, and the ocean is the great unknown for us too. You could absolutely find something down there, but absolutely by the time we get to the second one for sure, we've reached a level of ridiculous that you
Yeah.
can't really touch. Like, this is no longer based in humanity.
No.
None of this is realistic. None of this is based on science. We're just like having a great time and watching a shark terrorize human beings.
I think that's why I enjoyed it so much because it was so ridiculous.
Yes, the shark can be both things. It can be that real terror, like that sense of the unknown, us looking into an element that we have no control over, the same way that we do for like space films, but we have no basis for a creature in space that genuinely terrifies us. We have the idea of space as an unknown concept and how that interacts with our fear, but the ocean provides us a predator. It gives us the shark that is the thing, that sense of this is an element that you really are not in control of. And so when you take it to a place like the Meg and you have that idea of way, way, way deep down, there could be a predator that's something that you're never, ever, ever going to be prepared to face. I like that element of the shark film where you blend the fantastic with the science, where you have the real and the completely unrealistic
Yeah.
that touch each other both at the same time.
But if we're going on like ridiculous and out there, um, but you got Sharknado.
Yes, of course, Sharknado. Because once we reach ridiculous with sharks, I don't know if there's anything that's going to sum that up better than
Yeah.
Sharknado.
Because what's more terrifying than a tornado coming at you and then a shark being
Exactly.
pelted through the air? Which would it survive that long out of water? Is my other question.
Absolutely not. I mean, sharks have been known to survive outside of water, but are we flying through a tornado? No. But I love that combination, that sense of like, the helplessness, like not only are you helpless in the water, but we've decided to shoot sharks up into the air
Yeah.
now. They can come at you through a windstorm. Yeah, Sharknado to me is the peak version of the shark film, where we've taken it from one end. You have Jaws at one starting point, and then Sharknado at the other, where we're looking at one ultimate predator, something that hasn't really had to evolve through time and space. It is the ultimate killing machine. And what if it wasn't limited by water?
Yeah.
What if you could make it fly?
Now it flies.
I don't think you can do, like, in terms of a crazier idea, I don't think there's anything that's more tilt-a-whirl for me than Sharknado. I think there's something really, really fun about that idea of the shark film. It gives us that sense of the primordial or the primeval. Like, we're looking at the basis of human evolution, and the shark itself has not had to evolve.
No.
It has essentially been the same since the dinosaurs. It has reached its peak form. It is the ultimate predator for its environment. It cannot do better. And we as a human being, despite all of our advantages here on land, if you take us into the environment of a shark, we're pretty much going to come out below every single time. So there's a couple other films that I really, really like. I'm a personal fan of both The Shallows and 47 Meters. And it's the same idea as if you take not a genetically engineered shark, we're not taking a special shark here, but we just have like the same basic ability of this is a creature that has evolved to its maximum in its environment. The same way that we, technically, as human beings on land, have evolved to our maximum. We are the dominant creature up here. And if you put us in that environment against the dominant creature there, I'm pretty sure that we lose. So if you're ranking the top species on the planet, the shark comes out every time. We see that in a bunch of these different movies, but like, frankly, I don't know if there is an animal that captures that human sense of helplessness, our sense of the alien, our sense of the ability to be a truly dominant life form better than the shark. That's why they're one of the animals that we come back to again and again and again in films.
It's a good point.
Yeah, for me, I think that and like part of this definitely comes from my dad too, because he has always been afraid of the shark film. I think that he saw Jaws probably a little too young and it changed him forever. But I've always had the sense of, even when I go out into the ocean myself, there's never any place that I feel has more potential to truly slip into a horror film than when I'm in the ocean or when I'm around where a shark could be. Like there's the wild potential of that creature that captures a part of our human emotion. I think that it's the place where nature meets ferocity, where nature meets fury. The shark represents something special to us in film.
Yeah, I can see that how it is. And like watching all these movies as kids and whatnot, like I'm terrified to be in the ocean by myself. So like whenever we go to the beach, I don't like being out there by myself, and I won't.
Right?
But like my wife thinks I'm crazy. But one thing I would love to do one day is maybe go shark diving, like in a
Oh,
cage.
that would be
Like
amazing.
as much as I'm terrified of them, like I'm also fascinated.
Yes. And there's something in film and movies that does that for us too. Like it's the kind of thing I can think of. I mean, again, take any other predator. You take bears, you take lions, you take snakes, you take anything else. There's going to be an individual movie or two for sure that captures them. But sharks show up again and again for us. And there's something about the way that they've been captured on film. Even things like Shark Week, you can look at things like the educational programming that we do for sharks. There's something about that the freedom of them. They represent a way of life or like a potential that we really don't see anywhere else. I think that I would definitely go diving with a shark for sure, nervous as I would be, but I also don't think that there's any other animal encounter, like for example, going on a safari, that would feel as truly connected to nature as being in the water with a shark.
No,
There's something about that that's completely unique.
that's because we're way out of our element by being in the water.
Yes, they're the ultimate predator. And so, in some ways, that makes them like the ultimate movie villain. It's the same way that I kind of feel about aliens sometimes. Like when I'm watching any of like the deep space movies, that idea that we as human beings are so limited by our environment, but this creature thrives in a way that we don't. That makes them so, so scary for me. Like when you watch Jaws come up out of the water, when you're watching any of the animals come up out of deep blue sea, you've got what, three sharks in that one?
Deep Blue Sea, I
Yes,
believe so. Yeah,
three exactly. Because we've got two of the smaller ones and then the really, really big one. There is something about the sense of truly belonging in that animal's realm. Like we're no longer the ones with the power. The shark, especially when you get to deep blue sea, the shark is as smart as you are. It can take all of the same cost analysis like into consideration. It can weigh the same risks as you're doing. It can come up with the same strategies as you can. There is no moment that you necessarily have the advantage over that creature, and there are significant moments that it has the advantage over you. That's a concern all the time.
yeah. No, that's definitely a concern. Just the fact that you put human intelligence in a shark is just ridiculous.
I know. If I have to pick a shark on our list, I'm pretty sure Deep Blue Sea scares me the most.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, Jaws was scary, like at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
still like the concept of it is still scary. But you throw human intelligence in that. I mean, the end of Jaws when the boat's sinking and they're trying to like kill the shark. I mean that was scary as a kid.
Terrifying.
But now imagine doing that, and this thing is smart enough to know that cylinder's gonna blow up in my face. I shouldn't chew on this.
Right, to really think about it. I do remember, so like I had the fun advantage of seeing one of the summer revival series. Like when I was growing up, they used to play like movies at 7 or 8 or 9 during the summers sometimes. And one of the ones that they played was Jaws. So I got to see it on the big screen at the local movie theater. And there is something about seeing the way that Bruce moves that is still terrifying. I remember being 15 and watching it and just thinking, oh no, that's not okay. But Deep Blue Sea to this day, I imagine like LL Cool J when he's in the kitchen and trying to escape the shark and shoving himself in the oven and the thing is coming at him, it still raises my pulse. I still get sweaty palms. I get nervous every single time. There is something about the potential of a shark to really reach, like, if you gave it our thinking ability, there's no way. There's no way I'm fighting with that. So for one of the things that I want to cover for sure is one of like our favorite lines are those iconic moments. Like what are those bits of a shark movie that you think really sum up like the summer feeling or the reasons that we can't get away from that genre? We can't get away from that animal. For one, always, 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 we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah. See, that's another one of those lines that still bother me now that I didn't hit it in our best line episodes was when the
How?
chief
Right?
goes, "Smile, you son of a bitch," and then blows him away. Like, that's another good line.
Right? It's a fantastic line. Jaws has like a lot of iconic moments for us in terms of there was something about the moment that that captured in pop culture history. There was Steven Spielberg coming in and having a really unique take. There's something about the pacing of the movie, and there's something about the capturing of a place that we had always felt safe. So the beach up until then had always been like a fun thing in terms of like a movie thing. And then the shark, introducing that shark in that way, having Bruce come in the way that he did, really changed the way that people felt culturally. That was a shift in our entire dynamic. It changed the way that people thought about sharks for years and years and years in a way that few movies ever did. I don't know if there's any other animal, or certainly film about an animal, that has really changed people's perception quite as widely as Jaws did for sharks,
I feel like they've tried to do it in movies, but it just didn't work out as well.
right? There's
Like
something
they had the
iconic.
movie Anaconda that
Oh,
I like that movie too, but didn't do it the same as Jaws or these
right?
shark movies do it.
Anaconda is a beautiful film. You capture something really special about snakes in that one. And then another that comes to me is like Placid with their
Okay.
crocodiles. So like we have individual animal films. I'm going to throw out Cocaine Bear just because I can't help it. But sharks come up again and again and again. There is something about them that they capture some piece of our imagination. There is something about the shark that is unfathomable to us. There is something about the depths of them. They are a representative of human fear. They take us to places that we can't necessarily feel in control. And again, they explore an aspect of our personality where we're unsure as we explore a depth that does not belong to us. It's the same way that an alien film, like I feel like anytime we're exploring an extraterrestrial, we're looking at a realm that lets us really consider the things that make us scared. There's something about a shark film when you are small and helpless and floating in the middle of the ocean. There is a true human nature there. It is one of those things. All you are working with is your wits and your skills. It's not about weapons or technology or anything else. It's just how strong are you against this animal or against this element of nature. And the shark does that better than almost anything else.
Yeah. Well, that there's so much about any under uh the sea creatures that we still don't really know much about, and the shark's still technically a mystery. Like I watch Shark Week every year,
Yes.
and there's still so much that they don't know.
Right? That capture our imagination the same way. There is something, there's the potential of a shark. There's all of the things that they do. We know like something 10, 15%, 20% maybe of their behavior. And I think that we're always looking to understand ourselves and our world better. And the shark film allows us to do that. It's one of the creatures that, despite the fact that we have come up against repeatedly as a villain in our films, we also champion them. We have things like Shark Week where we really look for the beauty and the benefit of that creature and the way that they fit into our ecosystem. They capture some part of our human creativity and imagination that I don't know if any other animal really encapsulates the same way.
And you know what? Just to go back to like how impressive these animals are, like the one episode or one show that I like watching is Air Jaws on Shark Week. Like to see the raw
Good.
power that this creature has and how fast it moves, that it could jump out of the water at that height is incredible.
To bring their bodies up out of the water. Exactly. We've taken sharks all the way into this completely explorative documentary place where we see, I remember seeing those videos where they come up and you have like what, 6 inches of their tail. That's a 10-foot animal that's completely like out of the water.
Yeah,
There's something really magnificent about them. Um, I think that there's something special about a shark and the shark film in our entire canon that makes them unique to the human spirit. There's a reason that they come up again and again in our stories and our myths. And I'm glad that we have the chance to explore like what they really mean to us as a human condition. And as we continue to look at our planet and the way that we expand into it, I think that the way that we tell those stories, there's a reverence to them that we can't lose. If they only become something scary, if we lose the ability to see all the wonder that they represent, we would um, we would have lost something really precious in the way that we view the natural world around us. All right, I think those are going to be my. Oh, you know what? I want to loop us back around. I want you to bring me in with Shark Tales, though, one more time. I want you to sum up for me why that one, the other end, because like we have things like our Sharknado, we have our fun, but bring me in with something like Shark Tales. What does that do for kids? Like, how does that help us when we see something like that or Finding Nemo? How does that help our new generation find sharks in our shark movies?
I mean, I like the fact that in that movie they got Robert De Niro playing the the Don of the Sharks, and the Sharks are basically like the mafia, and they're the tough guys, and no one
Fantastic.
messes with them. And then you got Will Smith's character Oscar, who's the Shark Slayer, and
Just come. I don't
yeah.
know.
And what was it was Lenny, right? Was the
Yes, yes.
and he ends up being the shark that can't kill anybody, and has to let everybody live, and he's just a sweetheart, and like you
Right.
fall in love with that shark.
The way that that plays on the perception too of these creatures, like it's one of those things that like sharks also have incredible mothering instincts. Like it's one of those things that sharks represent both things. So like we have the new versions of shark films that give us that, again, fish are food, not friends. If we look at Finding Nemo or something like Shark Tales, where we have the ocean conservation that sharks are able to do, they're not only the scariest thing for us, but also one of the greatest wonders that we have in the ocean. um a film like Shark Tales really does a good job of bringing that home, especially for a new generation. I hope that they come up with something like that again and again and again, because sharks are something that we should continue to explore. I would love to see a new version of Finding Nemo where we have, bring them back, bring back Bruce
Yeah,
all day
no,
long.
Bruce was fantastic. I mean, he could probably get a standalone movie. I feel like,
Oh yeah, I
or
would
like
have
a
paid attention to
spin-off of
Bruce
some
for a
kind,
while.
at least a short.
Yeah, exactly, right? Something like that, a short or like a little TV show. We could follow him on his little shark adventures as we're seeing all the different creatures that he's decided not to eat.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to think what other sharks we could talk about.
I don't know. I think those are some of my favorites for sure. Um, I guess as I'm out in the ocean next time, as I'm swimming around, I'm sure somebody will occur to me the next time that something bumps my foot, a little fish or a piece of seaweed. I'll think of the next shark movie. But I do. I think that those are kind of the big ones that have always occurred to me, and they kind of encapsulate the special thing that sharks represent to me in film. There's something unknown about them, but they're not unrealistic the same way that some of our other creatures are. Sharks are the possibility and the potential and the fear that we have of our planet all in one. It's a strange human companion that we really have here on the planet. And I like watching those films about them. They always bring some really true organic element to me that I love.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff with sharks that I love watching, and like I said, Shark Week's one of my favorite weeks of the year.
Right?
But going back to like Jaws, like seeing that movie, there was a lot of scenes in that movie that I loved watching, and one of them was the part where they're trying to keep him above water, and they keep shooting him with the barrels, and like he ends up with three of them, which is unheard of, and then
Right.
still pulling it underwater was incredible.
Right, absolutely. Like there's the strength of the shark too. Yeah, exactly. There is we believe that the shark has the potential to be like a monster beyond anything else that we've ever known. There is um to this day, every time I get in the water, a little part of me is always going to be afraid of a shark.
Yeah,
I will always, 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 a little part of me flashes on Jaws. Every time I touch something in there, I'm just like, "Ooh, buddy."
yeah,
Yeah, they're too strong, they're too fast, they're too furious. The angles that they come up at, the entire thing. Shark Week has done that. Every single movie on our list has done that. Sharks are something that are always going to bring a little bit of awe to me, and that's a movie that I think I'm always going to end up watching. If you put a shark on screen, I'm going to end up paying attention. I
yeah.
like them every time. All right. So I am Lauren,
I'm Joe.
and this has been us swimming into summer with our sharks. We've got a couple other things coming up. We're very excited to be talking to you guys about everything that comes up next. And hopefully, you're having a great time yourselves. Enjoy everything that's coming up. Have a great summer. We'll talk to you soon.